The discovery of America was one of the most pivotal events in human history, marking the beginning of a new chapter in global connections and exploration. In the end of 15th century, this moment was not just the story of one man's daring journey, but the opening act of an age of exploration that would bridge continents and cultures. Over the following decades, European nations rushed to explore, claim, and colonize these vast territories, setting in motion profound changes for both the Old and New worlds. The discovery of America truly began when humans first migrated to the continents during the last ice age. A land bridge known as Beringia connected Siberia to Alaska, allowing small bands of hunter-gatherers to cross into the Americas. Once the Ice Age ended and sea levels rose, Beringia submerged, isolating these populations from the rest of the world. Over millennia, these early settlers spread across North, Central, and South America, adapting to diverse environments. By around 12,000 BCE, their descendants had reached the southernmost tip of South America. By the first millennium BCE, sophisticated civilizations emerged. The Olmec in present-day Mexico created monumental stone sculptures and influenced later Mesoamerican cultures. The Maya built vast cities, developed advanced writing and mathematics, and created an accurate calendar. The Mississippian culture in North America constructed large earthen mounds and thriving trade networks. The Inca Empire in the Andes Mountains constructed one of the most sophisticated road systems in the world. These societies, and countless others, thrived for thousands of years, showcasing advanced technology, governance, and culture. The first known Europeans to reach the Americas were Norse explorers. Around the year 1000 CE, Leif Erikson, son of Erik the Red, sailed from Greenland to a place he called Vinland, located in present-day Newfoundland, Canada. Evidence of their presence comes from Elant's Auxiliary Meadows, a Norse settlement that featured sod buildings and tools. Despite their achievements, the Norse failed to establish lasting colonies, likely due to conflicts with indigenous peoples and logistical challenges. While the Norse expeditions are well documented, there are theories that other groups reached the Americas before Columbus, including Polynesians. Genetic and cultural similarities between Polynesians and South American peoples suggest contact, possibly through the Pacific Ocean. West Africans. Some historians theorize that West Africans, using advanced seafaring techniques, may have reached the Americas, although evidence is limited. Chinese explorers. Claims of Chinese voyages to the Americas, particularly during the Ming Dynasty, remain controversial and speculative. By the late 1400s, European nations were seeking new trade routes to Asia. Spices, silk, and other luxury goods were in high demand, but the overland Silk Road was dangerous and controlled by competing powers. The Age of Exploration was a transformative period in world history spanning the 15th to 17th centuries. It was marked by the European pursuit of new trade routes, wealth, and knowledge of uncharted territories. Central to this era was Christopher Columbus, whose voyages in the late 15th century initiated a new phase of global interactions. Christopher Columbus was born in Genoa, Italy. As a young man, he worked as a sailor and trader, gaining maritime experience in the Mediterranean and Atlantic. By the 1480s, he had developed the ambitious idea of reaching Asia by sailing westward across the Atlantic, rather than the established eastward routes around Africa. Columbus sought financial backing from multiple European courts, including Portugal, England, and Spain. After years of rejection, he finally secured support from Spain's Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand, who agreed to sponsor his expedition in exchange for a share of potential wealth and territorial claims. They gave Columbus 3 ships, the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria, and the backing to embark on one of history's most famous journeys. Columbus set sail on August 3, 1492. After a stop in the Canary Islands, the fleet ventured into the unknown Atlantic. Weeks passed without sight of land, and tensions grew. But on October 12, 1492, they sighted land, an island in the Bahamas. Columbus named it San Salvador, believing he had reached islands near Asia. The people he encountered, the Taino, were welcoming and generous, but Columbus saw them as potential converts to Christianity and labors for Spain. Over the next few months, Columbus explored parts of Cuba and Hispaniola. He returned to Spain in 1493, bringing back captives, gold, and tales of a new world. Spain was eager to capitalize on Columbus's discoveries, so his second voyage was a much larger expedition, 17 ships and over 1,200 men, including settlers. Columbus set up the first permanent European settlement in the Americas, La Isabela, on Hispaniola. But it wasn't smooth sailing, supplies ran low, settlers clashed with the indigenous people, and disease spread. On his third voyage, Columbus reached the mainland of South America, realizing he had found a continent. Still, he insisted it was part of Asia. By now, Columbus's governance of Hispaniola had drawn criticism. His harsh rule over settlers and indigenous people led to unrest, and Spanish officials removed him as governor. He was even sent back to Spain in chains. In 1502, Columbus embarked on his final voyage, desperate to find a passage to Asia. He explored parts of Central America but faced storms, shipwrecks, and near disaster. Stranded in Jamaica for a year, Columbus's health and reputation deteriorated. He returned to Spain in 1504, broken and disillusioned. Columbus died in 1506, still convinced he had found a route to Asia. But his voyages changed the world. They opened the Americas to European colonization, trade, and exploration. Today, many people question the celebration of Columbus. While his voyages are undeniably significant, they also symbolize the beginning of centuries of exploitation and suffering for indigenous peoples. Unlike Columbus, Italian explorer Amerigo Vespucci recognized that the lands discovered were not part of Asia but a previously unknown continent. Between 1499 and 1502, Vespucci participated in voyages along South America's coast. In 1507, German cartographer Martin Waldseemüller published a world map naming the new continent America in Vespucci's honor. The name stuck, and later maps expanded its use to include North America. Spain quickly claimed vast territories in the Americas. Conquistadors such as Hernán Cortés and Francisco Pizarro conquered the Aztec and Inca empires in the early 16th century. These conquests brought immense wealth to Spain through gold, silver, and agricultural production. Under the Treaty of Tordesillas, 1494, Portugal claimed Brazil and established colonies there. Portuguese settlers introduced sugar plantations and enslaved Africans to work the land. Other European powers such as France explored Canada and established fur trade networks. England colonized parts of North America, beginning with Jamestown in 1607. And the Netherlands founded New Amsterdam, later New York. By the 18th century, European colonies in the Americas were not just sources of wealth, but also arenas of cultural exchange, conflict, and innovation. They laid the groundwork for modern global economies, social structures, and political systems. The age of exploration and colonization forever changed the world, ushering in an age of interconnectedness, but also underscoring the consequences of imperial ambition. It's a history that continues to shape our world, reminding us of the complexities of human progress and the need to reflect on its costs.